Whew. Oh, man. Mm-mm. It's a good day, y'all. It's a very good day. Yeah, just a good day. Obviously, been a lot of politics and whatnot happening over here in America. I'll say for one that I am very pleased. I'm just feeling really good. I just want to put that out there. So I guess let's get into the actual full blast. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Full Blast. Again, sorry if I'm a little loopy. It's just been a lot to process emotionally for the past couple of days. It's just been a lot of turmoil and uncertainty, but it looks like the thing is gonna actually happen, and that's I think it's great. I think it's great. So, introverts versus extroverts. Which one are you? So, okay, look, obviously, this is admittedly a little bit of a clickbaity title. I did that on purpose. No, I just want you to know that I made it clickbaity on purpose. But I do think that there is some actual I think that there might be some like real OP shit in there. And I also I think it's really important that we have definitions of introvert and extrovert that work for us. It is part of the cultural lexicon. Whether we like it or not, it is part of the cultural lexicon. People refer to themselves as introverts or extroverts without really knowing what they mean by it. Because here's the thing, there's no context in which I'm talking about psychology, introvert versus extrovert, whatever, where it will ever be appropriate for me to go, well, actually, in the objective personality system, which is an offshoot of the Myers-Briggs system, introvert and extrovert is defined by which animals... What? No, fuck you. Go away. I even hate that guy. That's never going to be reasonable. But I was thinking about this somewhat independently of Shave's piling versus stacking analogy. So if you're not in class, they made a class video talking about how the introverted functions are more interested in piling the Jenga blocks, or are more interested in stacking the Jenga blocks in like a very neat, tidy order, where the extroverted functions at least, are more interested in just piling as many blocks as possible and then like finding the one that they need, right? And I was thinking about that and I was like, that kind of works for me, sort of. But I've been sort of thinking about this, jumping over problems sort of thing, right? Again, my view is that the functions are useful. That to me is the optimal way to approach all these functions, is like, what problems are these tools trying to solve? Which again, for me, subjectively makes it a lot easier to go, oh, right, this is not a TE problem, this is an FI problem, or this is an FE problem, or this is an SI problem. And then it makes it not about like the functions that I want to use, like that's still going to be a part of it. And of course, there are going to be certain functions I prefer using to others, but at least I'll have a little bit more of an objective framework and being able to look at the situation and go, you know what this situation really needs is SI. And then I can go, okay, am I the one to do the SI? Should I call my buddy and have him do the SI? Is that feasible, right? And then it's not about, well, I can't do this problem. It's, what does the problem actually require? And then using the best tools at my disposal to be able to solve it. Because maybe it's not maybe it is an SI problem, but really it's just a sensory problem and is not about the abstract. So maybe I can leverage my SE to be able to solve this problem. Again, a million different ways to look at it, a million ways to think about it. But I was talking to my dad. So my dad, he's like a double masculine ESFP athlete dude, right? He's got like the long torso. He can do, right. He's very, very athletic, and certainly was even more athletic in his younger days. And, so I was talking to him, and he didn't have a good answer for this, but the analogy still sort of worked, because I was thinking about, because he did a bunch of track events in high school, 4-letter athlete, whatever kind of guy. And, I was thinking about like the extroverted functions, and thinking in particular about like my TE versus TI. That's sort of where I got the math from. My TE, I think of it like I'm running 100 meters of hurdles. The problems that my TE is good at solving, like really, really good at solving, are not particularly high problems to solve. They're, about at the height of my waist. I can't like do nothing to get over them, but they're not particularly difficult, right? I can sort of like leap up a little bit and like get my leg over it and whatever, and it crosses the barrier. Great, I've gotten over this one little TE problem. Well, then once I can really hit a TE stride, now I'm just doing like, I can do problem after problem after problem after problem after problem. And that's really what I did at work, is that the problems that I was solving at first, and where I really, really thrive and excel, is just like, here are 17 TE problems. Like, it's just about logistics. And again, because I have ST play, TE and my SE working together, that it is outward. But I think a much more helpful way to think of it is, I'm just going over a bunch of different hurdles. That's all I'm doing. It's just small problem after small problem after small problem after small problem. And I can get like 17 of those done in a day. And where people always look at me funny is they're like, how do you get so much done in a day? Again, this was back when I was doing the work and not doing, again, at the expense of doing my own inner work, right? It was like, how can you do so many auditions in a day? How can you do so many tutoring? How can you just like go, 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 go? Well, it's because the problems that I'm solving are they're shallow problems. I'm not trying to do the high jump. And if you think about the way that those two events are structured, right? The hurdles is a timed event. All of the hurdles are roughly the same, not roughly, they are exactly the same height. Right? All the hurdles are exactly the same height. Everybody is running the same distance over the same height of hurdles. And it's just how many hurdles can you, like, how quickly can you get over these, I don't know, however far apart they're spaced. How quickly can you get over these, 100 hurdles, if there's a hurdle every meter, say, right? That's all it is. That's the whole game. Or I guess it's probably 50, probably every 2 meters, something like that. However many hurdles there are, how quickly can you get through all of these problems that are fairly small and at a similar height? Obviously, in real life, they're not going to be exact, but in the premise of hurdles, they are all exactly the same height. It is very standardized, TE, fairsies, even for everybody, right? So that's what my TE is trying to do. It is not concerned with doing a TI high jump. A high jump is not a timed event. I mean, there's like loose time limits, like you can't like take, half an hour between runs. But for the high jump, here's the bar. You run at it. You have been practicing this high jump, like you know what your personal record is, you know how to do it. You ramp up into it over the course of the heats, right? And you're like, all right, here's the, 4 meters. Again, I'm literally making up numbers. I have no idea. I think the record is like 7 point some meters for the high jump. But like, let's say you start at like 5, right? you can miss the first two, right? You can totally fuck up the first two because you're not timed. You're warming up, you're getting into it. You have that luxury, so to speak. But at some point in the first, you have 3 jumps. You have to clear a certain bar. And then you clear it. And then you land on your back. You land on a nice cushy mat. And then you're like, whew, all right, I cleared the bar. You take a break. You get some water, stretch it out, shake it off, whatever. And then at some point, you do the next jump that is a little bit higher. If you miss, it's all good. You missed, you knocked the bar over, you land, dust yourself off, the officials reset the bar, you think about it again, you prepare, you get ready, and then you go for one singular jump. Okay. If you are a TI user, again, I'm just using TI and TE to start to sort of set the foundation for this analogy. If you're a TI user, and that's all you know how to do is high jump, and you're looking at this field of 50 hurdles that you have to cross, you're going to lose your fucking mind because you're going to be like, oh my God, I have to use my high jump technique 50 times in a row and I'm crunched for time. Fuck this noise. No. And similarly, if I'm a TE user and I see a high bar that I have to jump over, I will similarly be like, what the fuck? No, I can't clear that. Are you kidding me? Well, of course you can't clear it using the same technique that you would for hurdles. You have to use it's a completely different event. They're both within the realm of track and field, and like, I guess they're sort of similar in that you're jumping over things, but the metrics are completely different. And one of my biggest struggles is that I was a strong TE user, and the other people in the company, especially like my cohorts and compatriots, whatever, the other guy in particular, the other guy and I think the CEO, our collective boss, they were both TI users. And so they would see me clear like 17 hurdles and they were like, holy shit, you're a fucking wizard. What the shit? And I'd be like, no. You were just treating every one of these hurdles like it's a high jump. That's not, no. And then when I would get stymied at a high jump problem, I would freak the fuck out because I'm trying to treat it like a hurdle. And they're like, well, can't you just leap over this one like the other one? And I'm like, this is a significantly higher bar. I can't, okay, hang on. This is going to take me a while. I can't do it as quickly. And they're like, no, but you're the quick guy. And again, wires just getting crossed. But I think about that, and I think about sort of my TE hurdling versus the TI high jump. And I think that really absolutely does extend to all of the introverted functions and all of the extroverted functions. And by extension, the extent to which someone can be considered an introvert or an extrovert or an ambivert or a whatever. And because I think that so much of it is like, which problems are you, and I'm going to say this word, I don't love this word. It seems to be coming up more often and I'm not thrilled with it, but I'm using it just for the time being. What problems are you genetically wired to be able to solve? Right? And if you see like a play blast or a blast play EJ, yeah, they can fucking go because their lead function is meant for speed. It's meant to just clear how many small hurdles can I clear in a short amount of time? Right? That feels very extroverted, outward, forward, speed, like all of that sort of tracks for me, right? Whereas when you have the lead sleep IP, all they want to do is just go they want to clear one bar, which is the them bar, but they want to clear the highest bar possible. right? They're like, how high can I go? What can I, like, how, you know, or if you want to think of diving deep, how deep can I go, right? That's what the introverted functions are trying to do. And again, just to go back to the hurdles versus high jump, you don't when you're training to do high jump, you don't improve your height quickly. Like it is such a slow and like really just steady process. It won't even be, you know, and you have to like clear a certain bar a lot, right? You know, I'm just going to say 5 meters, right? If I can't clear the 5 meter bar in my sleep, I'm not moving up to 5.25. I'm just not doing that, right? It's just, and even that's probably too much. You know what? Let me actually get some sensory on this. High jump. I'm going to do high school because we're not high school records. Okay. Okay. So I was thinking of that as feet. Everything I just said. Pretend I said feet, not meters, because that's preposterous. 5 feet plus inches. Okay, so we're going to go back to feet, the feet analogy, right? So let's say you start with your 5 foot jump, right? If you can't clear a 5 foot jump in your sleep, you're not moving up to 5 feet 2 inches. You're just not. And you build your high jump inch by inch by inch by inch by inch, which is very much how the introverted functions are building themselves. Whether it's NI, SI, TI, or FI, doesn't matter. It's not looking for big gains. It's looking for really just like slow and slow. Like it really, like that's where to me the chip away game comes in. And I think it's telling that, you know, both Shan and Dave have locked, again, for being so different and complementary, they both have a lot of extroverted energy, right? Shan is lead play. Dave's doubling up on his blast. There's going to be a lot of TE awareness, stress, pressure. So like they're going to be very, very aware of this extrovert status, you know, false summit game. Again, just because of how they're wired and, you know, what they're responding to in what it is that they're teaching and preaching. You know, it makes sense to me that they're going to really latch onto this idea of the chip away game, because Dave's last animal is, you know, includes his FI, right? And Shan's last animal includes her NI, and she has demon sleep. So there, again, I think that's bringing a lot of this like turn inward, grow yourself, and then give to others. You know, clean your room. Again, chip there. I think that's where you know, and it's not necessarily a message that, if you know, someone like Jerry Seinfeld does not need to hear this message, right? He's NITI, sleep, consume, blast. He's play last. He's doubling up on his lead sleep. That's all he's doing. Is it is so minute and meticulous, and how all of his logic layers together, and it makes sense for him, right? And you see, like if you watch his stand-up, when you watch, like whether you think it's funny or not, and to be clear, I didn't love his latest stand-up special. I thought it was a little old. I thought it was like, this would have been funny 25 years ago. But you watch it and you're like, it's just fucking meticulously put together. Same with if you watch the first James Acaster special, that's another really good example of it. You really only need to watch. So there's like a series of 4. Watch the whole first one. It's great. It's fucking brilliant. But in particular, the first 15 to 17 minutes is to me like, holy shit, how the fuck did you put that together? It is brilliant on a level that I can't even wrap my head around, because it's so deep and layered, and you're like, wow, I absolutely track every single little tiny thing you put together. Hannah Gatsby, that's another one. Her newest. If you want to watch Nanette and just get eviscerated, feel free to watch Nanette. It's incredible and it's super powerful. But I'm thinking of her latest one, Douglas. If you want to, again, get a sense of like, again, she has a lot of introverted energy, a lot of DI, and you can see her like, it's just this like slow and steady layering of, this idea builds on this logic and this logic and this logic and this logic. And she can stack her blocks really, really high, compared to someone like Joe Rogan. If you watch Joe Rogan stand up, he is all over the fucking place. It's just like, let me punch extroverted. Let me see how many hurdles I can clear in one comedy show. And it's funny. It's still, incredible and powerful, if you like that kind of humor, whatever. But it's so different. It's so different watching Joe Rogan's stand-up energy compared to someone like Jerry Seinfeld, Hannah Gatsby, such different energies. And I bring all of this up because I think it's really important to understand not only your strengths and weaknesses, but I think that it's an important measure of it's an easy and important way to self cross-check, right? So let's say, again, I'm a weirdo because I'm a glass lizard. So my lead function is introverted. My lead function is NI. So if I am all in on my first function, I just want to clear a really high bar. And I'm perfectly happy playing the chip away game and the slowly building the IJ box game with my NI. But with my Savior double activated TE, that just wants to fucking go, go, go. And it is not concerned about raising the bar, really. And that's where I'm now sort of understanding like where my language has conflicted with the language of my peers and my cohorts, because they're all talking about raising the bar. And that's just never, like, that concept has never fucking made sense to me. Because my Savior decider function, my Savior double activated function is TE, and it just wants to go fast. Like, it just wants to finish the race as quickly as possible, and that's how it wants to win. Right? So when they're talking about like, you gotta raise the bar, you gotta work on yourself, and I'm like, why? This is where the hurdle height is. Why am I trying to artificially heighten these hurdles if I'm trying to play the speed game? And they're like, no, but you should be playing the height game. And I'm like, no, but I'm playing the speed, right? And so they're just two different games. And the fact of the matter is, we all have 4 functions. We are all playing the height game with 1 observer and 1 decider. And we're all playing the speed game with 1 observer and 1 decider. So we have to be really, really cognizant of what game we are playing when. If I'm playing the TE game and I've looked at a situation and I'm like, this is a TE problem, my goal is not to raise the bar as high as possible. It just isn't. My goal is to get through all of the TE tasks as quickly as possible so that I can either move on to other tasks or work on a different task that is a more of a high bar task. On the flip side, if this is where my NI fucking hates NE, because NE is not looking for necessarily to the highest bar possible. They just want to jump over as many hurdles as they can in a short amount of time and gather as much shit as possible. And then they'll find the best one or whatever, but then they're really quick to discard that best one and then move on to a new best possibility or a new idea or a new whatever, right? Whereas my NI is like, no, can we hang on? This is a really good concept. I have chosen this concept. Let me raise this bar subjectively as high as I can for me. I don't care about these other hurdles, right? And so one of the things that not just the quarantine, but particularly the election has really taught me that in any sort of communication, in any sort of anything, you have to know what you're talking about. You have to know what your terms, you have to have a similar definition of terms. Or at the very least, if you don't have the same definition of terms, know that you don't have the same definition of terms. And that's fine if you don't want to get on the same page, but just know that. Because if I'm playing the TE game and someone else is playing the TI game and we're going back and forth about reasons, nobody's ever gonna win. It's just never gonna happen because we're just measuring our reasons in totally different ways. This is me going, listen, I cleared 50, I solved 50 problems in, again, I don't know, I closed the window. But like I solved 50 problems in 15 seconds. It took you 3.5 minutes to solve one problem. What the fuck? That's what my TE is, viscerally. And their TI is going like, yeah, every bar you cleared was like at your waist. Like you were basically just stepping over these problems. I was actually running at a problem and leaping over a much more difficult problem. And I was like, yeah, but you only solved one of them. And they're like, but the problems you solved were stupid. And right, we're never going to get on the same page. And so I think it's really important to understand, or at least, even if you're self-typed, being aware of, okay, there's an observer category and a decider category. I'm running hurdles. I just want to get through as many as I can in a short amount of time, and like speed, breadth, piling, whatever you want to call it, that's what it's doing. And just know that for one of your observers and one of your deciders, that's what you're going to viscerally want to try to do. And then know on the back end that there is one observer and one decider that doesn't give a fuck about going fast. It just wants to jump as high as possible. And more importantly, its metric of improvement is how high can I jump consistently. It doesn't care about time between runs. That's not what's being measured. It's just when I make a run at something, how high can I end up going? The fact of the matter is, being able to go fast and go high both matter. We cannot get away with just doing one. Which means, like, and that's where to me the demon work really comes in, is being like for me, right? So again, I'm a glass lizard. I'm kind of a weirdo, but I can tell when I'm in go, go, go mode. And it's like, all right, I'm going to do this first, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this. And I'm just trying to go fast, and it's not, I mean, again, that's great and fine if that's what the task demands. But as soon as I get to if I come up against a higher bar, right? Now here's where the analogy breaks down, because with hurdles are all of the same height, right? But in real life, the problems are of different heights. So if I'm like, jumping over these hurdles of staggering heights, whatever, if I'm like doing 4 hurdles and then I get to a high jump, now I have to stop and be like, oh, okay, fuck. Okay, wait. Okay, here's a different thing. I gotta like run at this thing and then do a high jump, and it's gonna break my stride. It's really gonna break my momentum. And look, Magical Christmas Land, the like superhero type people, even someone like Jim Carrey can't do this, right? Where it's like, oh, it's fine. I can just totally stop dead in my tracks, break my stride, and then do a high jump and then start running hurdles again. That's not how this works. Like, even someone like Jim Carrey is like, oh, fuck. Okay. There is a high jump there. Great. Let me treat the high jump like a high jump. And again, where I get fucked off is if I keep running at this high jump bar with the same technique that I was running at these hurdles with. Well, of course I'm not going to fucking clear the high jump bar. And it's also not the high jump bar's fault that I can't clear it, because I'm approaching the problem in the completely wrongest way. Right? And so then I have to say, okay, is this better? Again, to sort of take it into function land now. If my TE is just like, go, 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 do this thing. I did I loaded up the dishwasher, and then I went downstairs, and then I put the laundry in, and then I came upstairs and I did this other thing, and I went back downstairs and I put the laundry in the dryer. Now I'm back up here and I'm making a video because that is about how long it will take for the clothes in the dryer to get dried. And then when this is done, then I'll go down and do that, right? It's just a bunch of these little tasks. If my TE is just like boom, 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 knocking them out, it's great. But then if I get to something a little bit bigger, where it's like, oh, fuck, okay, there's like work that I have to do internally to clear this bar, if it's like, an email I have to send or just something bigger, I can't run at it like I've been doing these other things. I have to actually take the time and go, this is a different event. Great. Different event. Let me treat this event like the high jump that I can't hurdle over it. It may not be a super insane high bar jump, but it's not something I can hurdle over. It's something I have to use a different technique for, right? And then I jump over it, and I'm like, whew, that was a tough one. And I kind of wish that I had the foresight to, put a mat underneath there for me to land on. Next time I see a high jump bar, and I'm like, okay, there's a high jump bar. Let me drag out the mat, because I know that I'm not going to land on my feet. I will have to land on my back. So let me make sure that I have a cushion there for me. Now I will run at this. I will jump high enough, and then I'm going to land hard, and I'm going to land on my back, but it's cool because I gave myself a cushion, and then move the cushion out of the way, and then I can go back to doing my extroverted function tasks, right? And so my takeaway from this is 2 things. One, step 1 is just being able to see what the task at hand is as clearly as possible. Because if you're running at a high jump bar and you're a hurdler and you just think like, yeah, I jump over things, I'm a jump over thinger person, you're never going to clear that high jump bar. Ever. Because that's not what it's meant to do. And then you're going to give up, and you're going to get frustrated and be like, you know what? Fuck this. I just need all easy problems. Well, maybe, or maybe you just need to use a different technique for this one thing. Right? Or, and how about this? Going back to the mattress cushion analogy, if you're doing these high jumps, you don't high jump over something and then just like fucking land on the ground. You have to actually prepare the high jump area correctly. You have to make sure that you have the right mat and the right cushion and the right whatever, because you're not going to land on your feet. That isn't how it's designed. That's not how the event works. So make sure you give yourself that cushion so that you're not like, oh man, I jumped over this thing and now I have to try to land on my feet because the only cushion I have are in my, my shoes. No, that's going to impede your ability to jump as high as you can because you haven't given yourself the right cushion. Pole vault's a whole different story. But again, let's just stick with the high jump versus hurdles. Right, so that's sort of what I have started to really start to recognize and be like, okay, I understand what different tasks really require, which means when I'm doing organizing and my planning and my whatever, I then have to go, okay, let me not structure this out so that I'm going hurdle, high jump, hurdle, high jump, hurdle, high jump. That's never going to pay off. It's just going to stress me the fuck out. And that's what I feel like I've been doing for the last 4 years, to lightly bring it back around to the election, is that as a person of color in this country, I feel like I have been living in this state of high jump after high jump after high jump, but being forced to treat it like hurdles and it being a mess. And I was really stressed and, well, maybe I can go faster and just like learn to jump higher. And it was bad. And now I feel like I'm in a place where I can go, okay, here are all the problems that need solving. Overtime, whatever. Okay, let me knock out. So sort of what I've been trying to do lately, at least conceptually. I'm still getting better at doing the organizing of it. Again, sleep last, even though I'm lead NI, my sleep last means that the organizing is not always going to be my favorite thing to do. I'm learning to be able to go, okay, I need to knock out the things I need to knock out early in the day and then just focus on high jump shit once the hurdles are out of the way. That's what works for me, right? Which is, in a way, that's sort of me doing my saviors first, but not quite. Like the way that I'm framing it is, let me actually use my saviors when they're appropriate and then make a point to swing back around and do my demons and just doing both of them because, we all have high jumps that we have to clear and we all have hurdles that we have to clear. And, sort of the way that I'm choosing to look at this. And again, now that I just feel this existential weight lifted off of me, I can actually go, okay, what do I need to get done today? Like what is really time sensitive, right? And then going, okay, these are the tasks that are actually time sensitive. If I do not run the dishwasher today, then it's gonna make it harder. Then I'm gonna have to run it tomorrow, and that's more hurdles I have to jump over. So once I'm done with this video, because my dishwasher is next to where I film. I don't want the dishwasher running while I'm filming, but when I'm done filming in 2 minutes, I'm gonna push the button on the dishwasher. I also had some tomatoes, so I have another dish that I need to wash. Great, I'll push the button on that. Then I'll go downstairs, and then I will get all of my laundry, and then I will put away my laundry. Again, these are all just like little tasks that I can knock off that just need to get done. Then once all that's done, then I can go and then I can actually work on my high jump task of my NIFI. What's a personal project that I need to research, that I need to consume sleep work on, whatever, right? And start to get better at jumping over those bars. So all of that is to say, in life, there are hurdles and there are high jumps. We are going to be predisposed to preferring one to the other. That does not absolve us of doing both. We have to do both. That's just the way the world works. But step one is recognizing what muscles a particular activity requires and how much time a particular activity requires, and how improving at a certain task, some of them take time, all of them take time, but it's not like me learning how to jump over a bunch of hurdles in a row, that doesn't change the height of the hurdle, right? It's still me just going like little problem after little problem after little problem. And eventually when I get comfortable enough, leaping over Olympic-sized hurdles, if in my way is like, a middle school-sized hurdle, it's not the end of the world. I'm just going to use the same technique, even though the bar is lower. I'm still going to do the same level of hurdle work that I always do. And then once I've done the hurdles, then I can go, okay, I'm setting a timer on the number of hurdles I'm allowed to complete today. And then I'm going to start working on a high jump, right? Take a couple of runs at it, pause between runs, reflect, introspect, and then I'm going to make another run at it. Great. Whatever, right? So that's sort of where I'm at right now. And for me as a sleep last, in some ways I am going to be always more predisposed to running as many hurdles as I can. But, that's not every problem in the world. And the more that I can really choose to see high jump problems as being like, no, you know what? This is worth investing time and energy and emotional effort and finances and whatever into. And maybe don't treat it like a hurdle. And maybe really make that thing special, but also recognize, you know what? I'm only jumping 4 feet. When it comes to high jump shit, I'm only at 4 feet. I'm getting better at it. I'm slowly, trying to raise that bar. But raising that bar is going to take time, and I'm going to let it take time because it is so important to me. And not treat it like, oh, well, this is just another hurdle that I have to get through during the day, right? So that's, again, I think that analogy-wise, where I'm at right now is just step one, acknowledging the scope of different problems. And then from there comes the organizing of going, okay, I'm going to, block out, this is the time for hurdles. And then this is the time to work on general technique for jumping over. And then this is what I'm going to actually try to jump over and, raise the bar and raise my score and raise the ceiling, right? And that just, all of that together takes time, successful life. And it really is just a matter, at least on like an ego development level, recognizing that we are all inherently capable of doing hurdles and high jumps. There is nothing stopping us from doing both, period. But the responsibility is on us to go, I can do both of these things. And so I need to take responsibility for setting myself up to give myself the best chance of success over time to achieve both and to do both and to succeed at both. All right, that's all I got for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Whoa, it's getting blustery out there. I like it. I'll talk to you guys later and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend.